Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Dinar Daily. Today, we are diving into a narrative that marks a significant evolution in the ongoing conversation surrounding global currency assets. For years, the community has discussed the possibility of a major turning point, a moment where long-held theories would transition into tangible operational realities. According to the latest information circulating within the community, that moment appears to have arrived, presenting itself not as a mere rumor or a recycled speculation, but as a confirmed activation of infrastructure that has been in development for over a decade. We are discussing reports regarding the activation of a specific exchange portal designed to handle the Iraqi dinar, Vietnamese dong, and the Zimbabwe ZIM. The focus of today's update is to break down the details of this activation, separating the long-standing anticipation from the newly reported operational status of these financial systems. The information currently emerging suggests that what was once dismissed by skeptics as online chatter has crossed the threshold into a functional reality. Reports indicate that the long-anticipated exchange interface is now live, active, and accessible to verified users. This is described not as a beta test or a simulation, but as a fully functioning digital environment where interactions are currently taking place. We are hearing that confirmed users are already logging in, appointments are being actively scheduled, and verified exchange rates are becoming visible to those with the correct credentials. For the community of holders who have navigated years of uncertainty, volatility, and doubt, this development is being framed as the ultimate signal that the preparation phase is concluding and the execution phase has officially begun. The scope of this event appears to extend far beyond the simple act of cashing in physical currency at a teller window. The narrative emphasizes that this is a complex financial transition requiring precise timing, adherence to strict protocols, and a deep understanding of legal obligations. It is being described as a life-changing pivot point, one that demands a level of sophistication and awareness that goes beyond standard banking transactions. We are reportedly witnessing a historic transition within global financial systems, unfolding in real time, which necessitates a comprehensive understanding of rate structures and compliance measures. This update aims to clarify exactly who qualifies for this access, the specific steps involved in the process, and the intricate mechanics occurring behind the scenes of this global rollout. Late last night, distinct reports surfaced regarding a confidential banking memo that has purportedly validated what the dinar, dong, and ZIM communities have been waiting years to see documented. The memo describes the official deployment of a secure global exchange portal, distinct from a limited soft rollout. This system is said to be fully operational and purpose-built to handle the specific redemption requirements of these exotic currencies. For the first time, the community is discussing documentation that surpasses hearsay, with validation coming from real users who are currently interacting with the system's interface. This shift from private whispers to documented user interaction marks a critical evolution in the narrative, suggesting that the infrastructure is now ready for high-volume processing. According to these detailed reports, select holders who possess pre-verified serial numbers and registered asset reports have already gained early access to the system and are moving quickly through the initial stages. We are seeing information originating from regions including the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, and Australia, confirming that login credentials are being issued to qualified individuals. These reports describe a rigorous process where biometric verifications are currently underway, and controlled financial dashboards are displaying live, dynamic rates. This portal is being described as much more than a standard website. It is an encrypted digital infrastructure featuring hardened IP tracking, geographic filtering, and advanced two-factor authentication protocols to ensure the highest level of security. Inside this digital ecosystem, users are reportedly engaged in specific verification tasks, such as uploading government-issued identification, verifying currency serial numbers, and selecting their preferred redemption institutions. A critical step mentioned in these reports is the signing of non-disclosure agreements (NDAs) before any tier-based rate information is revealed. Encrypted communication groups across platforms like Telegram, Signal, and Discord are reportedly filling with evidence of this activity, including screenshots of scheduled appointments and locked redemption slots. The prevailing sentiment is that this is no longer theoretical. The system is active, verified, and the pace of processing is accelerating rapidly across multiple jurisdictions. Confirmation of these activities is reportedly coming not only from independent insiders, but also from sources connected to major Tier 1 banks in the United States. Institutions such as Wells Fargo, Chase, and Bank of America are said to have begun handling VIP appointment requests specifically for high-volume holders of IQD, VND, and ZIM. The narrative stresses that these are not hypothetical scenarios, but real appointment confirmations involving private desk scheduling and verified communication streams. This level of involvement from major banking institutions suggests a coordinated effort to manage the influx of redemption requests in a controlled and professional manner, ensuring that high-value clients are serviced efficiently. It is also important to note that access does not appear to be limited solely to the largest whales in the community. Reports indicate that even smaller volume holders are gaining access, provided they strictly follow the proper redemption procedures outlined by the system. Sources familiar with bank operations, including former employees and consultants, have revealed that internal staff have been undergoing special training for several weeks. This training reportedly covers the authentication of exotic currencies, the management of NDA processes, compliance rules, and specific wealth management procedures tailored to this event. Some branches are reportedly extending their operating hours, while others have established private redemption rooms to ensure privacy and security for high-volume clients. The urgency surrounding this rollout is a key theme in the current updates. Several banks are reportedly restricting high-tier appointment windows to specific dates between now and late November 2025. There is talk of a potential cutoff date around November 26 in certain districts, creating a sense that delayed participation could result in significant missed opportunities. The narrative warns that failing to complete the necessary documentation on time could lead to losing access to upper-tier rates or being locked out of the system entirely. This time sensitivity underscores the importance of staying informed and prepared to act as soon as one is eligible for access. Understanding the mechanical functioning of the portal is crucial for anyone looking to navigate this process successfully. It is described not as a simple login page, but as a structured, multi-layer verification pipeline designed to weed out fraudulent claims. The first step reportedly involves entering serial numbers, which are then authenticated against a continuously updated global database. Following this, users must upload a valid government-issued ID, and in some regions submit to biometric checks such as facial recognition or fingerprint confirmation. Only once identity is securely locked in does the system display eligible banks near the user's region, allowing for the selection of a specific redemption location. A significant aspect of this process is the requirement for a digital non-disclosure agreement. Before any rate information becomes accessible, users must sign this legally binding document, which is mandatory for accessing premium tiers. Only after these strict prerequisites are met do the live rates and appointment scheduling tools appear on the dashboard. Every action taken within the portal is recorded and fully auditable, ensuring transparency and security. The system is reportedly built to institutional security standards. reflecting the magnitude of the value being processed and the need to protect both the financial institutions and the individuals involved. The most widely discussed feature of this new portal is undoubtedly the tier-based rate model. Unlike static foreign exchange postings that one might see at a typical travel kiosk, these rates are said to adjust dynamically based on a variety of factors. These include the currency type, the total amount held, the user's location, any referrals they may have, and their participation in approved humanitarian or structured programs. The difference between these tiers can reportedly translate to massive differences in overall value. Verified reports are circulating that indicate Iraqi dinar rates could range significantly, with higher tiers offering values that far exceed the street rate, specifically in regions like Texas, which continues to show high activity. Similarly, the Vietnamese dong is registering variable rates depending on the volume threshold met by the holder, while Zimbabwe's ZIMA Series 100 T-notes are seeing distinct exchange values at banks authorized for bulk redemptions. However, the narrative takes a deeper turn when discussing the shadowed architecture of the global nexus system. Here, access to the highest contract paths is described not as a right, but as a privilege that is bestowed. Gaining entry to these levels reportedly requires more than just holding currency. It demands proof of contribution, demonstrated discipline, and alignment with sanctioned macro initiatives known as structured development projects. Invitations to these exclusive levels are said to arrive without warning, often appearing as encrypted communications embedded within secure channels. Every candidate accepted into this fold is bound by strict confidentiality accords, with NDA that are sealed with advanced biometric signatures. These agreements are described as binding not just legally, but digitally, echoing through every system the candidate touches. The consequences for breaching protocol are portrayed as severe. A single missed appointment or a leak of information can result in the Nexus system instantly retracting access and surgically removing the individual from the eligibility grid. Behind the public facade of banking stability, the level of preparation is described as staggering. Off-record testimonies from infrastructure analysts and internal observers describe months of accelerated training within major banking dynasties. We are hearing about newly created job titles appearing quietly among recruitment postings, roles such as Nexus Liaison, Temporal Compliance Officer, and Tier 4 Strategist. Internal memos are reportedly circulating in sealed channels, outlining complex procedures for processing exotic asset redemptions using quantum-backed authentication keys, hinting at a technological leap in how these assets are verified and managed. The narrative suggests that while the world believes its financial institutions are frozen in routine, a seismic shift is actually underway beneath the surface. This is described as a meticulous, coordinated restructuring of how value, power, and opportunity flow across continents. Only a select few reportedly understand how close the world is to crossing a threshold that cannot be reversed. International oversight coalitions, such as the Meridian Forum and the Continental Stability Directorate, are said to have mobilized economic modeling engines to track unprecedented fluctuations that are currently rippling across this new financial grid. These oversight entities are not watching passively. They are running predictive simulations at a massive scale to analyze liquidity surges and cross-institution behavior. The movement of high-value redemption packets across the encrypted network is being monitored closely. What is alarming these observers is not that the activity is destabilizing, but that it is incredibly coordinated. The synchronization across continents that have historically resisted cooperation suggests a global alignment that has been planned for a long time. This shift is global, affecting sovereign districts and financial enclaves that are upgrading their skeletons to accommodate these new authentication measures. Specific regions mentioned in these reports, such as the Verdant Peninsula, the Akaran Collective, and the Spiral Gulf, are reportedly upgrading their systems to embed authentication measures directly into asset identification nodes. Banking enclaves in areas referred to as the Helen Corridor and the Sapphire Emirates are quietly opening private access chambers for vetted holders of sanctioned value certificates. Meanwhile, other dominions have initiated phased rollout tests using sandboxed economic environments to observe real-time redemptions before expanding to a national scale. This indicates a careful, staged approach to a global financial reset. Behind the scenes, cross-border synchronization protocols built upon quantum threadwork and adaptive API relays are enabling instantaneous auditability of every transaction. Even legendary funds like the Aurora Sovereign Fund have begun evaluating new asset positions within these revitalized districts. This moment is framed not as an isolated event, but as the first global economic recalibration in centuries. Every nation capable of sensing this shift is positioning itself to survive and thrive in the aftershock that will reshape the world's balance of wealth and influence. The flood of first-hand experiences regarding this shift began as a trickle of odd stories whispered in private networks. Now, however, confirmations are multiplying. We have heard accounts of a retired strategist from the North Meridian Warfront who reported connecting to the Nexus interface for the first time through an obsolete console. After completing complex cognitive harmonic steps and submitting a biometric oath, the system granted him a private appointment where he executed a high-tier contract exchange using rare helium notes, with his allocation transferred to a vault account within 24 hours. In another instance from the Western Quadrants, a systems engineer in the California Expanse reportedly accessed an advanced tier through a humanitarian projection network. The Nexus system provided her with an on-site legal array, staffed with synthetic counsel units to organize her future trusts and tax shields. These stories, accompanied by validated screenshots that are blurred automatically by the Nexus protocol to protect privacy, continue to pour into encrypted message holes. The emotional fallout is described as intense, representing the culmination of a decade-long wait for many who believed the world was on the verge of a monumental shift. For those who hold sanctioned value certificates, such as Verdant Marks and Zamari bonds, the passive waiting period is officially over. The Nexus has entered its execution phase, and preparation is now a non-negotiable requirement for advancement. Participants are advised to inventory every certificate, log their quantum-etched serial patterns, and document ownership chain histories. They are encouraged to contact their wealth operatives discreetly, as discretion itself is now a metric used by the system to evaluate eligibility. The establishment of isolated financial accounts dedicated solely to receiving these allocations has become a widespread strategic practice. Legal experts and financial architects, particularly those trained in interjurisdictional allocation structures, are being consulted in record numbers. Participants are documenting confirmations privately, fully aware that precision and organization will determine their success. The Nexus system is described as rewarding preparedness and having zero tolerance for chaos. The security protocols embedded within the interface are unlike anything built by traditional human institutions, subjecting each login to multi-layer scanning, geolocation triangulation, and emotional state verification using micro-fluctuations in neural impulses. In some jurisdictions, the system reportedly requires full biometric resonance alignment before even displaying the preliminary interface. NDA are woven directly into the access fabric, and violating them triggers an immediate lockout. Every user action generates an encrypted quantum hash stored across decentralized nodes to ensure no complete trail can be reconstructed by unauthorized analysts. The system is described as almost sentient in its vigilance, granting access only to those who respect its boundaries. Advanced tiers are immersive cognitive environments shaped around the user's psychological profile, offering opportunities that extend far beyond simple financial gain. Finally, we must address the specific opportunity regarding ZIM bonds. Long considered outliers, these bonds are discovering their value within the Nexus ecosystem is far greater than previously believed. Tied to reconstruction agreements, they contain unique embedded signatures that align with humanitarian pathways. High-level desks are offering enhanced pathways for these holders, provided they have authenticated purchase logs. The window for these opportunities is open but shrinking as the Nexus finalizes its recalibration metrics for an upcoming convergence event. For those waiting passively, the window is closing. For those who act with precision and intent, the opportunity to participate in this global restructuring remains. This is the moment the community has waited for. Stay alert, stay disciplined, and be ready to execute.